Dzień dobry, assalamu alaikum, ciao, konnichiwa, bonjour, hola, good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Ken at 10. How are you today? I hope you're doing well. Back in the office today. I know it doesn't look like it from behind me, does it? I'll explain all that in a moment. That's just the green screen, just a bit of cloth really. But I just wanted to depict something behind me that might be relevant-ish to what we're doing later on today. So how are you? I hope you're well. Later on today, we have the great pleasure of Jan from Liberty Food Bank coming on live for Isolation Inspiration to tell us all about our local food bank and how we can help. And we're starting an appeal to help them to get Christmas hampers to the needy. And we'd be very grateful for your help with that. I will display the link a little bit later in the broadcast today, but also obviously in the live while Jan's on chatting to us and explaining everything about the cause to us. But it's an amazing cause and it's local. You know, you can help people right now in your area by helping them. And you'll be helping the most needy in the local society. So we'd be grateful for your input on that. How are you? Hope you're doing well. In terms of the housing market, what's going on? Well, that's why you're here. If you haven't been before, welcome. We're James Alexander Estate Agents. This is Ken at 10, because I'm Ken and it's 10. And we talk about all things property and anything else really that might have local interest involved in it. First of all, of course, we have the new grant for installing an air source or ground source heat pump. £5,000 is going to be offered. And this is an article on the BBC News. You've probably seen it. Homeowners in England and Wales will be offered grants of £5,000 from April to help them replace old gas boilers with new carbon heat pumps, low carbon heat pumps. The grants are part of the government strategy to reduce carbon emissions from heating homes and other buildings. No new gas boilers will be sold after 2035. And there's £3.9 billion worth of new funding to decarbonise heating. But experts say the funding is too low and the plan not ambitious enough. Heating buildings is a large contributor to the UK's overall greenhouse gas emissions, it says, representing 21% of overall emissions. So there is pressure on the government's heat and building strategy to deliver effective reductions. Well, that's all great, but you need efficient systems to replace gas boilers. I'm not sure whether air source heat pumps are there yet. Ground source heat pumps probably are, but it's so expensive to run and install that I'm not sure that they're the answer yet either. But hopefully with these grants available, we'll start to see some more innovative solutions and some cost-effective solutions to the problem. Because at the moment, although air source heat pumps are a great idea, they're not as efficient as gas boilers. So hopefully that will improve over time. Certainly, they're looking at timing of around the next, I think it's 2025, isn't it, that they'll stop selling gas boilers, and then we can see what else is on offer. So we've only got 4 years. It's not very long, really, is it? And, you know, I'm all for decarbonising the economy in any way we can, but there has to be efficient solutions to the problem. And at the moment, I think they're not quite there, but hopefully this sort of thing will incentivise people to come up with better solutions. So what else is going on? The property gap between the most and least expensive towns has hit £1 million in the UK. There's an article in the Independent today, and it says the gap between the average house price in England's most and least expensive towns is just over £1 million. Data from the ONS, that's the Office for National Statistics, shows in 2020 the median average price for homes in Ferrol, County Durham was £39,000, making it the cheapest town for home buyers. At the other end of the scale, homes in Northwood, which borders Hertfordshire and London, saw a median average price of 1.05 million. In Wales, the gap goes from 60,000 in Ferndale to 291,000 in Dinas Powys in the Vale of Glamorgan. The ONS said that the average house price in England and Wales was 250,000, with England's average now at 259,000, which is significantly up from where it was a year ago. Fewer buy-to-let landlords around buying during the stamp duty holiday. Well, we've covered this briefly already, but this is one in the Daily Mail. New figures from Hamptons reveal that buy-to-let investors completed far fewer transactions during the stamp duty holiday than they did during a similar 15-month period 5 years ago. Anisha Beveridge, head of research at Hamptons, commented the overall impact of the stamp duty holiday on investor activity has been relatively muted. The holiday resulted in a small uplift in the number of new buy-to-let investors, but despite their reduced bills, they were not outbidding owner-occupiers on any significant scale. So the owner-occupiers are the winners of the stamp duty incentive, and that's a good thing. The problem with that, of course, is that there's just no new supply of rental properties, which is why the rental market is going nuts right now, and there's a huge undersupply of rented properties. This is going to become more and more acute, and homelessness more and more of a problem. In the local area, we're going to be supporting Liberty Food Bank, and Jan is on live, as you can see from the bottom of the screen here. Please do join me back on whatever channel you're watching on, if it's YouTube or Love Norbury, or my channel, whichever one you're watching on. Please do join us live here at 11 a.m. today, the 19th of October, and like, comment, and share, because the more you like, comment, and share while we're live, the more viral the video will go. Why do we want the video to go viral? Because Jan is providing food for the homeless or the needy, and so therefore, we want these people to be helped as much as possible. Sometimes when we go about our normal days, especially those of us that have been busy working, it's easy to forget that there are many losers during the pandemic. If you're working, most of us that have been working in a professional capacity have found that the lockdown hasn't been anywhere near as bad as we expected. And for many of us, it's actually been a greater income stream than we would normally have expected due to a lack of commuting into work, etc. At the other end of the scale, people on the gig economy, people that are out of work, have found it a real struggle to make ends meet. And that's where Jan and her team at the Liberty Food Bank come in and help people to make sure, at least if nothing else, they get a decent meal. And we'd like your help with that, because we're going to be trying to supply some Christmas hampers, and you can be the first to help by following the link on screen now. Please do. We'll be speaking to Jan live and getting some more information on that for you shortly. A couple of articles on inflation, one in the Daily Express saying that inflation will make buying a house harder. Well, that's not exactly Sherlock Holmes stuff, is it? But what she says is the pressure on inflation and a rise in borrowing rates could put the affordability of homes at risk. She cites nationwide data showing prices have risen 11% in the year and suggests that the Bank of England's record low borrowing rate of 0.1% has helped prospective homeowners get onto the property ladder. However, she notes the rate is expected to rise in the coming months with more hikes in 2022. With inflation climbing, she says the bank may try to control it by upping the cost of borrowing, adding that if it rises significantly, buyer power could all but disappear, making homes unaffordable for some lower-end buyers. Well, that's true, but I don't think there's going to be a significant interest rate hike. I just don't see it. I think that it's likely that there will be a hike, but I don't think that hike will be significant enough to make any dent in what already is a really, really vibrant market in terms of any houses that come to the market now at a competitive rate are going out the door quite quickly. And that's because there's still an undersupply. That means the number of people looking vastly outweighs the number of people selling. And as long as that's the case, where demand exceeds supply, there will be upward pressure on pricing. When that equalizes, or there's less demand than there is supply, then it goes the other way. So markets tend to sort themselves out in that way. Charities warning of a 40% rise in youth homelessness, and England's black population stands at about 3.5% of those at risk, or actually 10% of those overall that are at risk of homelessness. So that's, of course, close to home for us here in Norbury. And 120,000 people in 2019, 2020, and that's an increase of 2/5 in 5 years. And that's from Centrepoint, lovely charity. We did a sleep out for them last year, and they're a really good charity, and it's always an eye-opener to listen to what they've got to say. Cycle parking hangers, high demand for these. This is not surprising, is it? More and more people starting to use cycling into work and things. But in London, there's certainly a shortage of hangers, but apparently it's across the country. Actually, the article complains that the majority of cycle hangers are in London. But in fact, in our area, there's a massive shortage, and we don't have many people that I know would like to see more of those around. So apart from that, what else is going on? Well, there's an article in The Sun today about how you can buy properties for under £20,000, and they've got 4 different properties listed at under £20,000. Realistically, that's unlikely. I mean, realistically, those properties will go well over the £20,000 they normally do. But make sure you do your homework and make sure you know where you want to stop on those numbers, because if you bid virtually or otherwise, it's a legally binding contract to the point when that hammer falls. So be really careful what you wish for and make sure you know what it is you're buying. But if a guide price of a property is 20,000, you could expect it to go at least 10% over that, but quite often 20, 30, and even 50% higher. So go in with your eyes open if you're considering auctions, and make sure you know what the maximum you're prepared to pay is, so that you don't end up buying something for too much money that you could have bought in good condition, because quite often these things are dilapidated as well, and you could have bought the same thing in good condition for another 5k, whereas the works required to bring the one that you're buying up to that might be 10k or so. So just be careful, do your due diligence, make sure you do your homework. So we're in that what I call the homes under the hammer generation now. I've said this for a while, where people are buying properties based on the excitement from the show. And it is a great show. You see us on there, you know we love it, and we love taking part in the show. But it's a good news show, and it's there to show you how things can work, but it doesn't show you the bad news side of it. And many people we see experience a loss of money where they bought something at auction and they've just paid too much for it. So you need to do your homework, speak to local agents. They'll give you the honest, well, should give you the honest opinion. You know, whenever we're speaking to investors, we always try and be as honest as possible, because we hope they'll come back to us when they've actually bought, invested and refurbished. But we don't want to give them a false sense of security by quoting a higher figure than is real, because the other side of that coin is that then we just have to let them down. And we don't like letting people down. You know, we like telling people how it is, and we have a reputation for calling it like it is, and we like it that way. You know, we don't want to be one of these agents that's just going to be glibly say, oh yes, you know, in so many years time you'll get X or Y, because that's just waffle. You know, we come up with specifics, we look at comparables, we talk facts, because that's the way you should do agency, and not enough people are doing it that way in my view. So looking forward to speaking with Jan today about Norbury, Liberty Food Bank in Norbury, and we hope you can join us. And that's 11 a.m. today, less than an hour away. So please do come back and join us then, and come on and ask your questions as well. You know, comment, because that helps to drive the video. So if you have any questions such as where they are, what they're doing, how you can help, then just drop in live on the conversation. We can answer your questions live, or Jan can answer your questions live while we chat through what it's about, when it started, what's going on, and what our appeal is doing to try and help this Christmas. We're looking for hampers. We're looking for Christmas hampers for people, that the needy, that can't quite afford their own celebrations this Christmas. So we're looking to bring a little bit of cheer to them by raising £3,000. You can see the link on screen there via our justgiving.com link, and all money going to Liberty Food Bank. A lovely cause. So looking forward to that interview. We'll be back today at 11 a.m. Really hope you can join me then and Jan. So until then, thanks very much for watching. We'll be back again at 11 o'clock. We'll see you then. Look after your family and friends. Ciao.